We had dropped our bombs, and we were headed toward home. We still kept formation, but we were descending a little bit at the time. Now, I forget, Oschersleben was the last target. I don't know where it was in Germany, but it was in Germany. And we were on our way down home, losing altitude gradually. And I was flying the second lead in the low squadron. And I saw this fighter coming toward me. I saw the shells coming out, and they had tracers on them, and they could see, and I could not dodge because it was, well, our rate of closure was something like 700 miles an hour at that point, you know. Then I felt a couple of thuds in the right wing, and I knew we were hit. And I think the engine started getting on fire, yeah. So I dropped out of the formation and was trying to put the fire out. We had fire extinguishers in the engines. And the navigator, the bombardier then, came up to the catwalk between the co-pilot and myself and says, well, what are we going to do? And I told him we're trying to put the fire out, which we were. And then they made another pass and hit him, a direct hit in his body, and he was killed instantly. Yeah, we went ahead and we were trying to get everybody out, and I was concerned about the ball turret gunner, always. And I remember calling on the radio, get Vasek out of that ball. And he was already out. But anyway, I was so concerned about him being that vulnerable spot. You know, ball, yeah, about that big, and they're bunched together, bunched up. So he had to win, but he was out. So I started to get out in the airplane because it had the right wing was not, he gave me a thrust. It went up on its wing, and I had to get back in the seat and straighten it up, and I put it on automatic pilot, and then I went out. I went down to the navigator's hatch and went out. Now, I didn't have a scratch on me, but I went out, and I looked down. I was about 15,000 feet or something like that. Looked down, and I saw the ground down there, and I saw it open a hole, and I knew I had to get through that hole because I had no option. So I had to go to the hole, and I went through. I said, Lord, help me get through this. And I jumped out and tumbled for a bit. Then they had told me I'd don't do that. Then I started turning slowly. They told me so then I said, okay, about time I pull the ripcord. And I looked down and saw the ground. I pulled the ripcord and had a couple of swings. And my chute got caught in a tree, and I landed. Didn't even hurt my feet. It was soft, a soft landing.
How many times had you jumped out of a plane before?
0. And you know how many times I've jumped since then? 0. I didn't like it.
Did you see anybody else from your crew in the air?
At that point, no, I did not. They did show up shortly after that, but no, I did not. We had been told to, when you had to jump out, take your gear and throw it in one direction and go in another direction to throw the Germans off. But I was starting to do that and looked up and I saw a fellow on a motorcycle. So he had seen me come down. So he came down, and he was a Frenchman. I thought, oh boy, I can. But yeah, I don't know how I knew he was French, but maybe he said something. So I said, oh boy, I'm going to get by. But no, he was a policeman of the Germans, and he was sent over to pick me up. He started searching me, and I remember I was smoking, and I had a Zippo lighter, and I had that in my pocket, and so I don't know why I did this, because I knew it was they were sort of scarce. I took it out of my pocket and gave it to him. He stopped screaming. He was screaming bloody murder at me, and he took the lighter, and then I had to carry the chute and my gear, 100 yards, 200 yards, I don't know, half mile, I don't know how long, to the little town of Nienburg, Germany. Not Nuremberg, Nienburg, near the Belgian border. And I was taken there, and we got there, and he started screaming to the townspeople, and incidentally, I did not then know any German, but for some reason or other, I said, I'd ask for a drink of water. And water to Germans is Wasser. So they understood. They gave me a glass of water. It's my request. And I'd gotten up at about 3 o'clock that morning. It's about 11. So I was sleepy. So I gave his lighter back to him. He shut up. And then he got one of the townspeople to get his squirrel gun out, big long gun. And I lay down and put my head on the parachute and went to sleep. And so then I was awakened later on, how long I slept. But they had picked up the radio operator and my co-pilot, and the three of us were taken from there. I don't know how far we walked, not very far. Walked to the local army post of some sort. And incidentally, in this walking, the radio operator was a real wonderful guy, real full of life, and always, his name was Ulyss, so we called him Useless. As his nickname, and we had a wonderful crew. We got along beautifully. But Ulyss saw this girl in shorts. This is in May now of '44. Girl in shorts riding a bicycle coming toward us, and he threw a wolf whistle at her. Did a wolf whistle, and I said, "Ulyss, stop it! You make Judas." But anyway, we were under armed guard. He did that. Just not a thing happened. We went on to the post. And taken inside the gate. I had a little bit of phlegm problems in my nose, so I had to cough and was spitting it out, and I accidentally spit it on the sidewalk. And the Germans were having a gas mask training session, and he saw me, and I saw him, and he came over and started kicking me. I reached down, I saw I'd done something wrong, was trying to clean it up, and he came over and started kicked at me, and I saw him coming, and I raised my arm and and warded it off, and then that was all. And so then they took me to a jail, and they had a slanted bed, an inclined bed of wood with a wooden pillow, and so they put me there, and I went to sleep.